The movie dog days of January are still upon us, but there are still a few films in theaters and at home that are worth curling up with on a cold winter night. I'm Bill Newcott, film critic for the Saturday Evening Post. Here's our podcast, Movies for the Rest of Us.
Captain, you do know Chief Yellowhawk. The Army wants to be certain that the Chief gets home to Montana safely without incident.
Hostiles is the story of an Indian-hating cavalry officer, played by Christian Bale, who's been ordered to accompany his old enemy, an Indian chief played by Studi, from New Mexico to Montana. The film moves slowly, and Hostiles is less an action film than it is a contemplation on how men live with the awful things they did in war. But the performances are excellent, the scenery is spellbinding, and Rosamund Pike is especially moving as a frontier mom who's lost everything.
Pull the trigger, dispense the nail, and whack it in one hand.
What you're telling me is goodbye conventional hammer?
Goodbye conventional life. Hello, nail hammer.
You know, I wasn't expecting much from The Clapper, a new comedy starring Ed Helms as a guy who makes his living as an infomercial audience member. But writer-director Dito Montiel has fashioned a charming, sweet-natured film that features an appealing central character and has a lot to say about the nature of celebrity in our digital culture.
This guy's everywhere! Who is the Clapper? We need to know who this man is, and we need him on this show.
Helms plays a guy whose entire identity is as an anonymous face in the crowd. When he suddenly becomes famous, it's his worst nightmare. Amanda Seyfried is adorable as his equally low-profile girlfriend, and Tracy Morgan makes a very welcome appearance as his best friend and fellow Clapper. Plus, there's a very funny appearance by the late Alan Thicke, playing himself as a kind of sleazy infomercial pitchman. Well, that's about all I can recommend in theaters this week, but is there anything better going on at home? Well, yes and no. Here are my home video quick hits.
I don't understand why I should have to pay the price.
The most high-profile home release this week is Killing of a Sacred Deer, the utterly bizarre thriller fantasy starring Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell. And as I told you after I saw it in Toronto last fall, the film is, in a way, Sophie's Choice played for laughs, and that's not a good combination.
We don't have to worry about nothing.
I don't need to remind all of you how many people died from catastrophic climate conditions.
Gerard Butler's sci-fi disaster flick Geostorm comes to DVD and Blu-ray this week. Let's check with Bill in our weather center. Thanks, Bill. On the Jersey Shore today, we're expecting tides to run about 1,500 feet above normal, so you might want to wear rubbers out today. Back to you, Bill.
He's your favorite.
I'd have to go for the little one.
Piglet.
Has to be Piglet.
Donal Gleeson brings vulnerable warmth to the role of author A.A. Milne in Goodbye Christopher Robin. It's the true story of how, as a struggling young writer, Milne created the beloved Winnie the Pooh stories for his son, named Christopher Robin. But with fame comes conflict, and both father and son soon wish they could just escape into that 100-acre wood.
It all started when Lucy told me she wanted to spend her honeymoon in a home away from...
Home. Only $1,800, and that's complete, mind you.
During their summer break from I Love Lucy in 1953, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz made a feature film called The Long, Long Trailer, a comedy about a newlywed couple who decide to drive around the country pulling, well, a long, long trailer. Audiences loved seeing the couple in color, and the film's broad comedy was well handled by legendary director Vincente Minnelli.
Stop! Go!
After decades of black and white sitcom reruns, The Long, Long Trailer is a surprisingly entertaining reminder of why everybody loved Lucy.
With a breeze.
Well, that's our podcast. For more on the movies, go to SaturdayEveningPost.com/movies, and for all my reviews, interviews, and videos, visit my site, moviesfortherestofus.com. For the Saturday Evening Post, I'm Bill Newcott.
I'm coming back, I promise.